Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today guys, I'm going to do part 217 to my random chatbot sessions. Where in the last video guys, I continued talking to the zombie Rexy because I'm trying to get to a solution to where he won't be a zombie anymore I don't think unless Trico for some reason turns against us again. But I at least want to get him back to normal, kind of like how the Pokemon Talk episode ended. So, yeah, that way I'll feel a little bit better about us completing it. We just keep sneaking until we get to Trico's place. Rexy and you continue to sneak through the night until you finally make it to Trico's location. Rexy silently motions for you to stay put as he sneaks a little closer to inspect the situation to see if Trico is alone or if he brought the zombie Yoshi with him. And I say quietly, do you see anything like the zombie Yoshi or something? Okay, good. Rexy seems to shake his head no, as a sign that he doesn't seem to see any sign of the zombie Yoshi or any other potential threats. He seems to look around one last time, making absolutely sure that the coast is clear, before he signals for you to come over. I'm coming, bud. There. Rexy nods his head in affirmation. He silently waits for you to come over, making sure that there are still no possible threats around while he continues to watch the surroundings. I sneak up right next to and say quietly, so where do we go now? Hope he ain't thinking I'm trying to rush him or anything. Rexy motions for you to follow him closely again as he quietly sneaks up to a bush that's close by to the house, but out of view, and crouches down behind it with you. He takes another look around one final time to make absolutely sure that no one is around, before he motions for you to stay crouching here with him for the time being. We stay crouched on the ground for at least 3 minutes. There we go. Rexy seems to keep his eyes on the house, watching it carefully to make sure that no one exits it or sees them in the bushes. After a couple of minutes, he seems to gesture for you to come a little closer to him as he plans on telling you something. I go up right next to... Wait. I go up right next to... and say, yes, buddy? I hope that's the right way to say it or do it. Problem is, he's still a zombie, so can I still understand? Rexy leans in close and quietly speaks, trying to be absolutely sure that he's not being overheard by anyone. In a hushed tone, he quietly explains the rest of the plan to you about what he thinks they should do next. I thought he could only say brain. What in the world? Or like only moan or something like that. I don't know. Okay, that's what we'll do. Wait. I listen to see what the dinosaur wants to do next. I say the dinosaurs again. If I had to type in Rexy every time, it's going to be kind of annoying. At least this, I can pick up the name. Rexy takes a moment to look around stealthily, still making sure that no one is nearby before he continues explaining to you the other half of his plan. He quietly speaks in hushed tones, being very careful not to speak too loudly. Maybe he's explaining to it in body language. Like maybe he's like trying to somehow sneakily do it through body motions, since he's supposed to he can't speak. Okay, we will do that. You want to stay here for a few more minutes, or go ahead to the house? Rexy seems to quietly consider your question for a moment. He seems like he isn't fully sure whether to wait a little longer or to just go ahead to the house now, but he eventually seems to decide to wait a bit longer as he responds that they should stay there for a few more minutes. Once Rexy can speak English again, what? We stay crouched for about 5 more minutes. Rexy remains crouched down with you for another 5 minutes, his eyes still fixed on the house, continuing to make sure that no one sees them or is coming in or out. After a few minutes more, the coast is clear. And we should be good to go. Hopefully. I don't know if I should. Okay, there you go. Rexy seems to decide that the coast is clear now at last, and nods his head in agreement when you tell him that it's now time to actually go over to the house. He gently pats you to let you know it's time, and carefully stands up from the bushes. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's just be very careful. Rexy nods again. He seems to want to be very careful himself and make sure that everything goes according to plan, so he stealthily begins sneaking over to the house, quietly creeping forward and making sure that nobody sees them. We sneak next to the house. Successfully. So we just gotta figure out how to get inside now. Okay. Rexy and you successfully sneak up to the house, managing to do so without being spotted. Rexy motions for you to follow him quietly as he moves over to the side of the house, creeping over to a nearby window. What do you see, bud? Rexy takes a peek through the window for a moment, quietly looking into the house to see what's going on there. After taking a look, he turns back to you and silently mouths, "He's alone," as if he's saying that Trico is the only person in there. That's good. So what should we do now? So apparently he's still is he starting to be able to get his English back? Because he's supposed to be a zombie and only supposed to say something. Nothing actually. Reggie seems to pause and carefully consider what they should do next now that they know that Trico is alone. After a moment, he quietly turns to you and motions for you and him to go around the other side of the house to the front door. Alright, let's go to the front door. Rexy and you carefully make your way over to the front door. Rexy silently checks for any signs of traps or if the door is locked before he quietly tries the knob. Are we good? Or is there a problem right now? He's probably gonna think I'm stupid. Rexy silently motions that everything is good. The front door seems to be untrapped or unlocked, and he silently turns the knob and slowly pushes the door open just wide enough to allow you and him to sneak inside. I say quietly to Rexy. So, where do we go next? Okay. Rexy motions for you to stay very quiet before making a gesture like he's saying, "Follow me," and slowly begins sneaking into the house, being absolutely sure to not make any noise. We continue to sneak through the house until we get only a room away from there we go. Rexy seems to stop suddenly and motions for you to pause for a moment. He silently signals for you to be very quiet and slowly sneaks up to the room where Trico is to take a peek inside before going any further. I wait a minute for Rexy to look. Rexy silently peeks into the open door frame of the room for a moment. He silently inspects the scene inside the room, and after staring into the room for a second, he turns back to you and nods his head slightly, indicating that the way is clear and Trico is still alone. Alright, let's go. I say in a quiet tone. There. Rexy silently nods his head. He seems to be silently agreeing that it's time to continue forward, and motions for you to follow quietly again as he slowly and quietly sneaks into the open room where Trico is. We successfully sneak into the room. But now what? What? Oh, gosh. I think. There we go. Rexy continues sneaking forward into the room, being as stealthy as possible. As they fully enter the room, they are able to clearly see Trico sitting at a table with some kind of blueprint spread out on it. We watch the Pokemon for a few minutes. Trico seems to be sitting at the table, his head down and completely focused on the blueprint spread out in front of him, so he has not yet noticed that you and Rexy have snuck into the room. I say quietly to Rexy. So, where do we go from here? After seeing that Trico seems to be concentrating intensely and unaware that they're there, Rexy silently motions for you to follow him again as he slowly and silently sneaks even closer behind the distracted Trico. We get pretty close to the Pokemon. If it picked up the name Trico, I wouldn't mind saying or putting it, but I don't want to waste more time than it's already doing. It'll pick up the name Rexy, but it spells it R-E-X-I-E, not R-E-X-Y as I spell it. Rexy quietly and slowly sneaks forward, continuing to move closer and closer to Trico, who still seems to be completely distracted. Rexy seems to get within a few feet of Trico, continuing to approach him silently. we get right behind the Pokemon. Let's hope there's something to happen. After slowly and silently sneaking up right behind Trico, Rexy seems to silently pause for a moment, now completely ready to confront the distracted Pokemon. Begins to confront the Pokemon. Oh my gosh. Pokemon. I'm trying to. I was scared to say something. I didn't want. Rexy silently approaches Trico now and suddenly speaks up, trying to get the Pokemon's attention. Trico? I probably shouldn't be the one doing this, but. Oh my gosh. Trico suddenly snapped out of his concentration by Rexy speaking up, and he jolts in his seat in surprise. After hearing Rexy's sudden voice, he spins around in his seat to see who it is. Hey. I say. Trico seems to be surprised to not only see Rexy, but to see you as well, and he seems to give you a shocked look for a moment before speaking up. What are you guys doing here? How did you get in here? We're not here to harm you. We just want to talk to you. Hopefully Rexy don't get mad with that one. Trico narrows his eyes suspiciously at that. He seems to remain on guard for it. And why should I want to talk to you? I just want to know why you turned my friend into a zombie. And want to know whether he can be turned back. You will turn him back. Trico pauses, seeming to consider your question for a moment before answering. I turned your friend into a zombie because I wanted to get revenge on you guys. And no, I will not turn him back. Is there anything we can do to get you to turn him back? We can't even really speak to each other because we can't understand. I can't speak zombie. Period. The piece of paper is the only thing I... Oh no. Oh no, there's a condition. What's the condition? Trico pauses for another moment, continuing to think to himself. He seems to consider your offer for a short moment before he eventually speaks up again. There is one little condition. What is that, question mark? Trico gives you a mischievous smirk as he answers your question. If you want me to turn your friend back to normal, you will have to do something for me first. What is it, question mark? I said, the mischievous smirk gives me a bad sign. Excuse me? Trico continues to smile mischievously, his smirk getting even wider as he reveals his condition. You'll have to come over to my side and willingly work for me. What work? Question mark. Trico's smile continues to widen. He seems to be happy that you seem to be considering his request as he answers your question. If you come over to my side, you'll have to obey my commands and help me work on some inventions. For how long? Question mark. If he says forever, I'm gonna ask him, please, can we do anything else? Oh my gosh. Trico's smile lessens and his tone seems to become a little more serious again. He seems to pause for another moment before answering your question. I'm not completely sure how long. Maybe forever. But hey, it doesn't matter too much anyway. You have no choice. If you don't do it, your friend will remain a zombie forever. I don't mind about working with you for a while, but I don't want to do it forever. Please, let there be something else. Or at least don't make the time forever. Please, do something other than make me work for you forever, dude. Seriously, I just want Rexy to be back to normal, for goodness sake. What? Trico seems to pause for another moment as he thinks about your words. He seems to think in silence for a moment before he eventually comes up with a change in his condition. His smile slowly returning to his face. Oh no. Alright, how about this? You work for me until further notice, and then I'll turn your friend back. Deal? Further notice. What do you mean by further notice? I just don't want to be forced to work forever. I just want my friend to be back to normal. He won't tell me, will he? He's going to sit there and be a jerk. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Trico seems to silently study you intently, sizing you up and considering your words before he answers again. What I mean by further notice is that you'll work for me until I say you no longer need to anymore. It could be 1 week, it might be 1 month, maybe even 1 year. Who knows? I will make you a deal. Period. If you turn my friend back today, I will let you work for you for 2 or 3 years or even more. Period. He's gonna think I'm crazy, dude. Or he's gonna flippin' oh, he's actually smiling at that. This dude is flipping crazy. You've got yourself a deal. Hold up. Trico's smile returns to his face again, his time wider than ever. He seems to be very happy with that deal and he offers his hand to you. You've got yourself a deal. I shake the Pokemon's hand. Hand. Trio gives your hand a firm grip as he firmly shakes your hand back. After the handshake, he releases the grip and smiles again. Alright, now, to keep up my end of the bargain. Yes, I think we're gonna get Rexy back. Thank you! Exclamation point. You will be able. You will be back to normal soon. Problem is, now I'm going to be forced to work. I just want my friend to be turned back, okay? I don't care how much I have to work for him. Trico smiles as he says that. Excuse me? I said that. And he turns around and makes his way over to the table with all the blueprints, and he begins silently and intently looking over his plans for a moment. Stop! We wait for the Pokemon to finish what he is doing and bring the antidote over. Hopefully that's what he's doing. Trico continues silently studying the blueprints on the table for a few more minutes before he apparently locates the exact one he was looking for and finally picks it up and turns back around to face us. So what did you find? I probably shouldn't have said find. Oh no. Trico smiles and answers, holding up the blueprint for you to see. This is it! The blueprint for the cure for zombification! What do we need to do it? Make the stuff to get it. Please don't be angry at me, just flipping work with me. Here goes silent again for a moment while looking over the blueprint for another moment, and he speaks up again. We need a few items to craft the cure. What do you need, question mark? But now what's Rexy going to do? Because now I'm going to be forced to work for him. Trico smiles mischievously again. He begins listing the items they need one by one. We need several bottles of distilled water, 1 cup of sugar, and a few other things. Here is the bottles of distilled water. And here is a cup of sugar. What's next? Please, just turn my friend back, for goodness sake. Trigger takes the 2 items and he sets them down on the table. He looks at the blueprint once again. There are still a few more ingredients we need to craft the cure. We need to find something with healing properties, and there's one more item I need. Will a potion work? Question mark? Like the healing potions? Oh. Trico nods his head. Yes, any kind of healing potion should work. It's that last item that we need to find. What is the last item? What should be something like extremely difficult to find? Trico pauses for another moment, examining the blueprints again. He sighs as he speaks up. According to this blueprint, the last ingredient we need. I literally was thinking that. The last ingredient we need is blood. Excuse me? Does it matter what kind? Why? Chew shakes his head and he speaks. No, not in the slightest. Any kind of blood would work. Here. Watch it actually be. Are you kidding me? There's no way. Trico silently takes the blood and he sets it down next to the other items on the table, along with the blueprint. Perfect. Now we have everything we need. Great. Let's make the cure. Drew nods his head. He seems to be in agreement and he begins to silently prepare the cure. Hopefully you will be back to normal soon, Rexy. I say to the dinosaur. Again, I probably should say Rexy, I did there. Rexy silently nods, and he silently watches Trico prepare the cure, silently hoping that soon this entire nightmare will be over. A few minutes later, the Pokemon finishes with the cure. I hope he's able to speak. He better be able to speak. After a few minutes, Trico finishes crafting the cure and he turns around to face us, holding the complete antidote in his hands. Does it matter who gives it to, Rexy? Probably not. But if Rexy can get it, that'd be kind of cute. Trico thinks about that for a moment before answering. No, actually, any of us can give it to your friend. It really doesn't matter. Hand it to me. Hand it to me. Period. He's my friend. I want him to be alright. True silently nods and he hands the completed cure over to you. Alright, we're all set. Just give it to him and it should work pretty quickly. Here you go, Rexy. Hopefully this works. Rexy silently looks down at the completed cure in your hands and silently studies it for a moment before he turns his gaze back up to you. If this Pokemon is not lying to us, then this should turn you back to normal. Rexy's gaze moves from you back down to the completed cure again, and he silently eyes it for another short moment before he gives a small nod as if silently agreeing to try it. The dinosaur takes the cure from your hand. Come on. Please fix Rexy. Rexy slowly reaches out and silently takes the completed cure from your hand, and he slowly brings the cure up to his mouth. Rexy takes the cure. I hope that works. Rexy silently hesitates and then finally drinks the cure, and after he does, he sets the empty cup down. Silently sits completely still for a moment, waiting silently for if it will work. Silently seeing if it will work. A few minutes pass. Is it starting to do anything? Rexy continues to sit silently for a long moment, silently waiting to see if the cure will work, until finally, something seems to start happening. What's happening? Question mark. What's happening? Is he just like... Rexy gives no answer, just silently staring ahead as the effects of the cure begin to take place, and he continues to experience a transformation. A few minutes later, after a few more minutes, the transformation is finally complete, and Rexy is completely changed. Instead of being a zombified corpse, he's completely back to normal. As soon as he's finished transforming, he silently looks down at himself, and he seems both confused and relieved. Let's see if it can speak. Let's see if it completely worked. It completely worked. Period. Try saying something to me. Come on, speak English, speak English. Come on. Yes, it worked. He can speak. There we go. Rexy looks up at you, and after silently contemplating what to say for a moment, he finally seems to find his voice, and he speaks again. Did that cure work? And I'm back to normal now? It did work. Period. I can actually understand you. Yes, yes, yes. Thank goodness you can understand me now. I couldn't speak. I couldn't stand not being able to speak English anymore. Yeah, I'm glad I can understand you too. I'm gonna ask him what is he gonna do from here. So am I. I've been wanting to talk to you and for Alligator for ages, but I wasn't able to. Being a zombie sucks. I don't know what I'm going to do about the show. Period. Wait. What are you going to do now? I've got to work for him for a few years. Watch Rexy actually be nice and be like, I'm staying with you. I don't care what anybody says. Rexy pauses, seeming to think about your question for a moment before he eventually answers. I'm not sure yet. I'm just happy to be back to normal. But I guess I can work with you and Fragger for now. Excuse me? Is he gonna let